Shabbat Shalom, everybody, and welcome to our home.
I'm Dr. Barry Kraft, and this is my wife, Fran. We co-pastor Ruach Adonai, the Spirit of God.
Because we are obeying the governor's order to stay home, we will have our services every Friday night in our home. So we hope that you'll join us each week. So come on in as we welcome the Sabbath by lighting the Shabbos candles. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kedeshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehiot or lagoyim v'natan lanu et Yeshua HaMashiach or ha'olam. Blessed are you, O Lord our God, King of the universe, who has sanctified us with thy commandments and sent us to be a light to the nations, and gave us your Son, Yeshua, our Messiah, to be a light to the world. Amen.
Amen. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod, Malchuto Leolam Voed. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Blessed be his glorious kingdom forever and ever. Amen. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Hey! Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Hey! Well, Fran is going to do the parashah tonight.
This week's reading in the parashah finishes off the whole book of Exodus. So we're in the last chapters of Exodus, starting with Exodus chapter 35, verse 1, going to 40, verse 38. In this reading, it's talking about Moses gathering the people, and first of all, talking about the Sabbath, that we are to observe the Sabbath, work for 6 days, and take the seventh day off. And that if they didn't obey that, the penalty could be death. But then it goes into the instructions about how to build this tabernacle, and gave very, very specific instructions to Moses to give to the people, saying, if you have any talent, we're asking you to come and donate your talents to building this wonderful structure. It was very specific. Also, he asked the people to come forward and bring their gold, silver, whatever wealth they had, and donate it. It got to the point that everybody was so giving that the Lord said, okay, it's enough, we have ample, we don't need to give any more. And then he gave instructions on how to go about building all the elements of this tabernacle. And then also the garments that the Aaron and his sons would be wearing. And when it was all said and done, and they had done it to the specifications, they brought it to Moses for his inspection. He inspected it, and he finally gave the final seal of approval, saying that they had followed the Lord's instructions to the letter. He blessed the people that had worked on it, and then he called Aaron and the sons over and washed them in front of the tabernacle, and then put on the wonderful arraignments that they had made for them, the royal robes. But Moses was not allowed to go into the tabernacle because the Spirit of the Lord had so filled the tabernacle, there was no room for Moses. And that ends the book of Exodus. The next reading in the Haftorah was in Ezekiel 35, number 16, and going to 36:18. And in this, it talks about instructions in how to observe all the feasts and festivals, which I think is really important because we're coming up to Passover. And for the first time in 7 years that Ruach Adonai has been in existence, we had to call off Passover. And we wanted to protect people, to keep them safe at home. But we are willing to give out the Haggadah so that you can do your own Passover service with your family or with a small group. It reminds me so much of the old days where they would not convene in huge groups and huge numbers, Barry, but they would do it in the family. And so we're encouraging you to do that, to go back to the old days that Passover was celebrated just within the family. It's a very exciting time.
That is wonderful, Fran. Thank you. You know, it's funny. Of course, we are abiding by the stay-at-home rule. I initially thought I'd be giving this message in my bathrobe, but Fran said she didn't think it was that appropriate to do that. So, with people cooped up together, it could be a wonderful experience, staying home with the family, or it could drive people out of their minds. Tonight I just wanted to speak a little about resolving conflict. Of course, needless to say, there could be some conflict that could arise. Do you agree, Fred?
I agree. Whenever you're cooped up and under these circumstances that are so foreign to us, made to stay home, first time in our lives that this has ever happened, tempers can rise and conflicts can come to the surface. Old conflicts, perhaps, because you're in a confined space. So yes, I agree.
Well, Matthew 5:9 states, God loves people who are peacemakers. He loves the peacemakers, and they will be called sons of God. The first thing to think about in these circumstances is, how can you be a peacemaker? Most arguments arise over issues revolving around power. You read of that?
I do.
And many people will think if they give in, then somehow there's a loss of power involved. Oftentimes people do go into a disagreement thinking they are right. If you go in to settle a disagreement thinking you are right, that is the wrong way to do it. There are some things we want to talk about in terms of rules of engagement. This is going to be a brief talk tonight, but it could be a talk that could benefit you out there. The first rule is, don't give up, give in, or get out, no matter how frustrating it may be. Be committed to the process. One needs to be committed to working things out. The second thing would be, ask for wisdom. Many times people go into conflict shooting from the hip. James 1:5 says, if any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask of God, who gives to all liberally and without reproach, and it will be given to him. So basically, shut your mouth until you really ask God for wisdom. Stop throwing stones, using blame or shame or guilt to make a point. Fix the problem, not the blame. Look to fix the problem, not to place blame.